Good afternoon from my garden. It's October 3rd. It's about 1:45. It's about 84 degrees. Definitely cooler than it was a month ago. Still a little warm, but not just so that you can't stand it anymore. And that's a welcome relief. I'm going to show you a few things that are blooming. That is a pink drift rose right there. I've had that little rose bush for several years, but I moved it last spring, and I'm glad to see that it has found its strength and has pulled itself up again this year, in spite of all the vines and competition around it. And speaking of vines, this is my heavenly blue morning glory vine that works all over. It's kind of needs to be watered. It's hot and dry right now, but it works all around my garden to create a privacy wall that I call this space within here my secret garden. On October 3rd last year, I just looked at Facebook, and most people put their grandchildren and whatever on Facebook. I put pictures of my garden because that's how I keep up with the dates of when things bloom. Notice right here, in fact, I had decided this was not going to bloom this year because I decided, well, it's just worked so hard on making this huge vine that it's just not going to bloom. It's shaded, but I see here that there are tiny buds. There are tiny buds, all beginning to dot themselves along the vine. So pretty soon this will be the most gorgeous blue blooming vine that I've ever seen. I don't know, other people have seen things more wonderful, but I pretty much like this. This year is my first year. Last fall, I believe, I planted, maybe early this spring, I planted this New England aster, and I'm so thankful to see that it's survived and it's coming along. I'll definitely take care of that. I love New England aster, so I'm definitely proud to see that. The milkweed has just about died back, but it's perennial. It'll come back. I have tomatoes growing. Across the way I have sunflowers and a few zinnias. Those are annuals. Still have a few Cracker Jack marigolds hanging on. They're just wonderful in an autumn garden. But I want to show you this. This is one of my pride and joy. This is a pride and joy for me. These dots of wonderment are the buds of a pink hardy mum that is fabulously hardy and very, very prolific. In fact, it and my heavenly blue morning glory are competing for favorite in my garden. But this hardy blue mum is perennial. In fact, last winter we had a terrible freeze that lasted 10 days, and the temperature was about zero for a long time, and we had sleet and icy rains that covered the ground and made a hard, deep freeze, and snow. We couldn't get out of our driveway. And that kind of snow and ice. Well, the ice is not so unusual for Mississippi, but the snow is. And it was just impassable. And this hardy mum not only lived through it, it remained green throughout that terrible freeze. This is something that I moved from the back of my yard to the front. This is old field aster. Some people call it star aster, and it has the same little daisy-like formation to its disc as the New England aster, but this is just a tiny white. It's smaller. The largest one is not even quite as large as a dime. I moved that here last fall, and it's coming along. The poke plant's just about had it. The sweet autumn clematis is no longer blooming. But I want to show you something over here that I planted. If I can get through here. See back there? If you look far in the distance, you'll see where I moved, how I moved from where I moved the goldenrod and the old field aster. Old field, it's exactly what you can tell where that name came from. It came out of an old field, and that's kind of where my flowers came from. I've started a hedgerow along this side of my garden with goldenrod, old field aster, and I protect it with my life. This whole side of my yard, in fact, just on the other side of that is the morning glory I just showed you. So I'm creating like a triple insulation for my secret garden. So that kind of gives you an idea. Oh, I have one more thing growing, but it's over. It's over, and it's about in the same degree of blooming as these chrysanthemum buds, and it's a Montauk daisy. And I'll see if I can get over there to it. Montauks they're not the same tall Shasta daisy that a lot of us are fortunate enough to have. The Montauk is a shorter, stouter daisy, and this one's just about to bloom. So that's just kind of a look into my garden. I'm going to get the water hose and bring it out here and give everything a good drink because it is so dry. Oh, one more thing, and I've talked about this all over and over again, but I'm fortunate that I still have sunflowers. And I didn't even plant the sunflowers that I planted. When you know it, didn't even grow, didn't do anything. They didn't even germinate. The birds plant my sunflowers. I have bird feed all around my garden, and the birds drop the seeds, and the seeds grow to be these. I had a huge stand of sunflowers earlier. This is my second growth of sunflowers, second group of sunflowers, and they are courtesy of my birds.